Hey, Marvel fans, can we give Phase 5 a chance?
What are you so afraid of?
Hey everyone, it's Sean O'Connell. I'm the managing editor here at CinemaBlend with a spoiler-free review of the new Marvel film Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This is the first film in the Phase 5 of Marvel, and listen, I understand. You guys are a little lukewarm about Phase 4. There was a lot of introductions and a bunch of sequels, and here we are heading into the third Ant-Man movie, so how good can this actually be? But I'm here to tell you that even if you've heard some negative reviews coming out of the premiere or mixed reaction to what was going on in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I had a complete and total blast with this movie. I thought it was so much fun and a great use of Ant-Man, as well as a terrific introduction to Kang. So we're going to touch on all the different reasons why I think that you need to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania the moment that it hits theaters, because for me, it's one of the most exciting things that Marvel has done in a long time, and better than any movie in Marvel Phase 4 that's not named Spider-Man No Way Home. So while you're here, make sure that you hit like and subscribe so you guys can keep up to date with all of our new videos as they hit. A reminder that this is spoiler free, so I will not dive deep into any of the specifics that would ruin you guys seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania on your own. But there's a lot to talk about, so why don't we dive into our spoiler free review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
You ready?
Ready.
So you have a movie that's called Quantumania, so that means you have to over-deliver on the quantum realm. And I thought that the environment that Peyton Reed, the director, created for Scott Lang to go into for this new adventure was spectacular. The movie doesn't waste a lot of time to get our characters into the quantum realm. You see it in the trailer. Essentially, Scott's daughter, Cassie, sets up a beacon that communicates from our world to the quantum realm. Janet, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, is immediately terrified. She has PTSD for the 30 years that she spent in the quantum realm, and she demands that Cassie turns this thing off. But it doesn't happen in time, and they all get sucked into the quantum realm, and then the movie sort of takes off from there. This is Marvel embracing science fiction even more so than it ever has in the Guardians films and Captain Marvel. They are just going for it on a big stage. There are no real rules to what takes place in the quantum realm, and the creative team behind Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania take full advantage of that. We are introduced to all new races and species of aliens. We see Kang as he's developed this new empire down there. Janet is, of course, very familiar with the way things maneuver down there. She's spent 30 years surviving in the quantum realm. But Peyton Reed and his team just really pull out all the stops in terms of this visual spectacle that I never got tired of exploring. I kind of thought that, like, in the scenes that we saw in the quantum realm in the other movies, that it might get a little bit too trippy or a little bit too Doctor Strange-ish, but it was grounded in a way that's sort of like old school Star Wars would be, like a sort of New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, with a lot of different weird things going on in the background, and different ways that that Scott Lang and Cassie and even Hank and Janet interact with the different things that are happening in the quantum realm. But I never felt like it was too much. I got an idea where we were at all different times throughout the thing. When Bill Murray gets introduced later on as a key character, it made a lot of sense. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer was terrific as a guide through this weird universe, and I'm okay if Marvel wants to keep going back into the quantum realm every once in a while, especially if they have to address what Kang has been doing. And I think it's another corner of the Marvel universe that we can have a lot of fun exploring. Again, I kind of feel like we're sort of scratching the surface of what's available in the quantum realm, but from what you see in this movie, it is spectacular. And I really, really loved all the things that they did.
Holy, that guy looks like broccoli.
All right, as an old school Marvel geek, one of the reasons why I loved this movie is because it puts a lot more focus on Hank and Janet, who are the original Ant-Man and the Wasp. In fact, you might make the argument that the title Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is actually referring to Hank and Janet, because they are pretty focal to the story that's taking place here. I've seen a bunch of people comment on the fact that, like, Michelle Pfeiffer steals this movie, and how come there's so much of an emphasis on her? Why isn't it Scott and Hope Van Dyne? But really, like, they are the original Ant-Man and the Wasp. They're founding members of the Avengers when you go back into the comics. And so it was time for Hank and Janet to sort of step up and take the reins a little bit more of this story and show how they were the superheroes who were able to fight alongside each other and stop some major things going on in the Marvel Universe before Scott was recruited to take over the Ant-Man suit. Now, I can't get into specifics about ways that Hank and Janet are integral to the story, but obviously Janet's backstory in the quantum realm is extremely important to this movie, and her relationship with Kang gets explored in a great deal, and it sets up a bit of the stuff that Kang is going to be doing moving forward. But you'll learn a lot about Janet, and you'll learn a lot about the things that she did in the quantum realm, and Michelle Pfeiffer is truly fantastic. Like, surprise, surprise, Michelle Pfeiffer is amazing in a role. Of course she is. She's terrific, and I kind of thought, up until this point, she's been a little bit wasted. Obviously, she's just been referenced throughout the first movie, and then they bring her back into the second film. But through this one, she's, you know, just happy to be the mom and doesn't want to really discuss the things that have happened to her in the quantum realm. She says to Hopeless, and I've been gone for 30 years. Right now, I just want to live in the moment. I want to be with you, which totally makes sense. I understand that. But when they get down to the quantum realm and when all of Janet's actions start to return to her, I thought it was really fascinating. I thought it was a really interesting way to beef up that character and to again remind us that these aren't just supporting characters that are along for Scott Lang's adventure. Hank and Janet are key to the Marvel past, and getting to see them sort of plug back in, be heroic, and rise to the occasion is a big part of the reason why, as a Marvel fan, especially of the comics, I was really, really excited to see them get the opportunity to shine that they got in Quantumania.
This isn't exactly ant science, is it, Henry? You know how dangerous the quantum realm is.
But the big reason why you are tuning into Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is because if you are a Marvel fan, you are probably following along on the continuity of the larger story. And this is, if we had the Infinity Saga, for the first three phases of Marvel that focused on Thanos and the Infinity Stones, this is the Multiverse Saga. And throughout Phase 4, we introduced a lot of key characters through both movies and television shows, and Kang was this thread that was being laid down in the background, specifically in Loki Season 1, which you need to go out and watch if you want to catch up with the Multiverse Saga. Kang is very important at the end of that one, and then it sort of picks up that thread and goes from here. Jonathan Majors is a force. I mean, if you've seen him in any of his films prior to this, you know what a terrific actor he is. You should go see Spike Lee's Defy Bloods, in which he's terrific. He's great in Devotion as well, too, which was a naval film that came out at the end of last year. He played a pilot, and he was outstanding. And this year, he's going to kick off with both Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and then he's going to be the antagonist in Creed 3, and he's getting great reviews for that already. He's one of those actors that just makes you stand up and pay attention to what he's doing. He commands the screen, and he's outstanding as Kang, and I'm really thrilled that he's going to be a big part of the MCU moving forward, because he's going to be the big bad that all the Avengers are teaming up against. We already know that Marvel has announced Avengers Kang Dynasty, and then I assume he's going to be pretty significant to Avengers Secret Wars moving forward. So they put a lot of chips into Jonathan Majors' corner, and this movie proves that they made a terrific decision. He is great as Kang. I have some lingering questions about what his powers are exactly, and you can tell that when they write dialogue for Kang, you sort of hang on every word, because you know that as he's explaining his backstory and also sort of laying out the things that he wants to do, we know that it's going to be important. And so for people who follow the MCU and pay attention to the bigger picture that's being formed by each of the individual movies, it's not just about stopping Kang in this movie or preventing him from doing the thing that he wants to do. It's laying the groundwork for a bigger thing that Kang is going to want to do. And Jonathan Majors sells all of that, which I think is fantastic. He's a formidable foe. You do sort of understand how Ant-Man is able to hold his own against him, I'll say, because there are hints in the trailers where, you know, Kang tells him, "You're out of your league, Ant-Man." And if we know the Ant-Man movies, his threats haven't been necessarily at the level of Kang. But this movie does a great job of figuring out how to use Kang without making it seem ridiculous. And again, like I said, establishing him for his force and letting us know where that's going to be going as Phase 5 and then even Phase 6 roll out. It's a great addition to the MCU.
This place, it isn't what you think.
Okay, so I love this movie. I think it had a lot of great things going for it. It does have a couple of nitpicks, which I can't get into specifically because they are spoiler-ish. I'll say this. It can be a little corny in the way that the Ant-Man movies have been to this up until this point. There's a certain humor that runs through the Ant-Man films that's unique to the MCU, and Paul Rudd, for the most part, will sell it, or even Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer will be able to sell it. There is a character that you might have seen some people talking about online that is really weird. Like, there's really weird stuff in this movie, and I think if you're not, if your mind's not open to how bizarre this film can get, then you might be like, this isn't for me. I'm not into this. All those weird things hit me in the exact right spot, though. I was ready for them. I wanted to see the Ant-Man franchise evolve and try new things. I wouldn't want to just see them regurgitating another San Francisco-based adventure for this hero, even though he can be somewhat grounded. He does have the ability to go subatomic and to explore something as unusual as the quantum realm. So that I can see rubbing some people the wrong way, but it worked really, really well for me. And so I'm giving Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania a very strong 4 stars out of 5. I can't go much higher than that, but it's definitely at a 4 out of 5 for me because it was a ton of fun. It was just a terrific use of Ant-Man and a really, really fun story to plunge him and all of his supporting characters into. So, in my opinion, Marvel's Phase 5 is getting off to a really good start. I'm not quite sure what we have next. There's a bunch of TV shows that are on the docket, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to be the next film that's hitting theaters in May. So we'll be back with a lot of coverage about that, and so make sure you keep up to date with everything that we're doing on CinemaBlend. Hit like and subscribe, turn on your notifications, and the next time we post a video, you guys will be the very first ones to hear about it.